Yeah,
Is
it
that why
is.
you're always calling me an MFer?
I never stop it. I've never called you one. Take it
Not
back
yet,
so
not
people
yet.
don't. Just a reminder, June 14th, 15th, I will be at Richmond, Virginia. Funny Bone. June 21st, 22nd, 23rd, Addison Improv. Make sure you're there. All right, let's keep this going, Ashley. What do we got?
Okay, this is some heavy stuff right now, but did you see that video of Diddy, chasing Cassie, the singer, down the hotel hall?
Not just
It
chasing her, beating her like an animal. You should not treat an animal like that or a person,
mm-mm,
but literally kicking her like a dog, as they say,
bad.
the terminology.
Terrible. It's
Terrible.
it's ter it's terrible, it's terrifying. I couldn't believe what I was watching was real, but it was very clear that it was him. He came out and said that it was him,
Of course.
after first denying it, of course.
Yeah.
But so Cassie then just spoke out and said, thank you to my family and friends and fans for all of the support. I can only imagine not only going through that, but having to see it in front of your face so many years later. It's terribly disturbing.
And a lot of people saying, why didn't y'all believe her the first time? We just live in a society now where we need to see it. It's sad, but we're that society. If you don't see it, I'm not going to say it didn't happen, but it's harder to believe. I think a lot of people believed it happened, but when you see something, it's so much more visual. It's so much more impact. It moves people. You just saying you're being abused doesn't move the needle like a video, and it should. It should.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't. That's the world we live in right now. Like when she first said it, I believed her. But when you see the video, you can't tell me it doesn't impact you more.
Oh, yeah. And especially living, like you said, this is the world that we live in right now where we see proof of everything all the time. We know cameras are everywhere all the time. So if it wasn't in one situation, we're like, why? Why can't you prove it? It's a little bit it's a little hard. But like you said, it should move the needle, but it doesn't until you see something like this. And this is a disturbing video. Now Diddy, he came out and said that it was him. He has been missing his kid's graduation recently, missed his kid's prom. The Hollywood Walk of Star committee was speaking out saying that, they don't have the authority to remove his star, but I'm sure it's being vandalized right now,
Yeah. Yeah, it's the whole Diddy thing, man. It's interesting to see people with that much power.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you don't know, like Diddy's, you ever seen that movie with Denzel Washington, American Gangster?
Ooh, I have not.
Okay, well, Diddy's dad was a real gangster back in the day.
Oh, wow.
And Diddy kind of took up that mentality. Everybody knew you didn't cross Diddy. That was like an unwritten rule back in the day. You don't cross him. He had a lot of power, and for someone to be able to get away with this for this long.
Yeah.
And not until a video was released where people really care, that's power. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's really kind of important too, because you're seeing all of these stars come to light that had issues that had big scandals and problems like this. We're talking R. Kelly, we're talking Diddy, Bill Cosby, and all of these people are from a certain era, right? To where I'm almost wondering and hoping that now those people being made an example of in the spotlight will help stop people treating other people that way. If for not just being a human, like it should deter them, but just for the fact that they could be found out so easily nowadays.
Well, yeah, even like when did this video happen? They said, is there a date how long ago was 2016?
2016. Yep.
That's 8 years ago. And let's be very real. 8 years ago, social media wasn't like it is today.
Yeah.
Twitter
Yeah.
was the thing. And now everybody has a video camera. Everybody knows how to use it. My mom knows how to use Instagram, right?
Oh
And she's
yeah.
72 years old. So
Mhm.
I feel now more than ever, if somebody's doing something horrible, you can put him on blast. If he does it to a lot of
Yes.
people, you're going to find out about it. It's not like Harvey Weinstein 20, 30 years ago. That would never, I'm not going to say it would never happen, but it's a lot harder,
Yes.
to do.
Mhm.
Diddy, what he did over the years, it's a lot harder to do now because everybody is recording everything all the time. And even if you don't think you're being recorded, you're being recorded.
Oh, definitely.
Unless it
And
happens in your home and you wand everybody that comes in,
mhm.
that's the only way,
Which I've heard stories. I mean, you've talked to people in the industry, and I've heard stories of people in the industry going to these parties or finding themselves in these parties where you are not to have a cell phone. You
Oh
are
yeah, I've
not
been
to
to
have
those
anything.
parties.
Oh,
I've been to the
really?
Playboy Mansion. I mean,
Oh,
everybody has. A big rule is at one time they tried to take your phone. A lot of them they don't care. But
yeah.
I remember one party they wanted to take your phone. I've been into movie premieres though, where they take your
Mm,
phone. I've been to comedy shows where they take your phone because they don't
mhm.
want to they don't want reviews to leak. They don't want a comic to get canceled because they're working out stuff and
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
and it's not like a comic is deliberately saying something crazy. They're working thoughts out loud. That's the thing with comics. We talk out loud to see what works.
Mhm,
We can't
mhm.
have these internal conversations and figure out what works. We have to say it out loud. And then we
Absolutely.
go,
Yeah.
that didn't work. Like, no comic in their head could be like, this is going to crush
Mm,
because you may go out there and it doesn't crush.
yep.
You have, being a comedian is something you have to go out and do live to see if it really works. Getting back to Cassie, I think it's just it's a lot harder to get away with this, which is a great thing because everybody
Yeah.
has social media, everybody has cameras.
Absolutely. Do you think that if they could remove his Walk of Fame star, Diddy's Walk of Fame star, that they would? That
I
they
don't think that
should?
matter. I think that's
No.
so whatever.
Mm,
Like,
okay.
because to me, let's talk about Cassie and how she's affected and how to stop other things. Forget about a star. They'll take out the star. Trust me.
Mhm.
Somebody's going to vandalize that star to the point where they're not going to want to fix it anyway. You
Right.
know? So
Mhm.
the star will take care of itself. Like that whole star story, that's so Hollywood.
It is. It
It's
is.
no point. Who cares? He has a star in dirty
Mhm.
Hollywood. That
Yeah.
street is just horrible. I mean, let's be honest. It's just some people want that great, but it's disgusting out there. And
Yeah.
maybe it's right that he has a star on that disgusting street. You know, big props to everybody that wants a star out there. But man, like just Hollywood is just a very dirty place. All right, what's next, girl?
All right, we're talking about Alec Baldwin. He he was under fire for being the one that pulled the trigger on the set of Rust, and
Yep.
he's up for involuntary manslaughter essentially. And in the news of that ongoing trial happening, he announces that he's going to have a new show on TLC. It's a reality series with his family. I think it's
What?
called, yeah, it's the Baldwins. Just showing his kids and his family. What? That's
This is
exactly my
to
thoughts. What?
me, this is a PR play
Ah,
because Alec gets to control the edits. I'm sure they're not just going to shoot and put up. They're not going to put any
oh
angry
yeah.
moments. This is him to get the public back on his side, showing how sweet
Mm,
he is. And I'm not saying he's not a sweet father or a great husband, but this is going to highlight that. This is going to show that Alec's big enough where people are going to watch it. He's big enough where the media is going to report about it. And
mhm.
as many good stories as you can get out compared to this one bad story, it's a good thing. So it's a great PR move for them if they can get it out
Yeah.
fast. They need to get out fast, though.
And that's the thing, that it's coming out in 2025, so it's not going to be that
Well,
fast.
but that changes. You know what? You're talking about it. We're talking about it.
That's true.
It
That's
changes
true.
the narrative. And who
Mhm.
knows if it ever comes out? That's all you want. What PR is just changing people's focus.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
know, Look, I don't like the guy, but Trump is great at changing people's focus. He'll say something awful, but then say something awful the next day, and you're like, you totally forget about the awful thing he said yesterday because you're concentrating on the awful thing he said today. You know, that's what PR is. You got bad PR over here, do something great over here, and keep doing something great. So then eventually, people today have short memory. You know, they'll forget it.
I had a moment that involved Alec Baldwin not too long ago, a few months ago.
What?
Dead serious, yeah. So I was working at a studio because I work for, I record audiobooks for people. Not my voice, but I help record them. And I was there and I was on a break. I saw the engineer was eating some pizza. I was like, hey, where'd you get that pizza? And she said, oh, Alec Baldwin. So I'm like, oh, okay, like it's a conference room name, they're all named like the presidential or whatever. I was like, okay, I'll go to the Alec Baldwin. It was a new studio. I had never been there. I walk into the studio and there's Alec Baldwin with pizza. And I was like, what? And he was like, I guess he like records his podcast at this studio and he had his back to me, but there was pizza. And I just took some of his pizza and walked back out. I was like, why am I taking pizza from Alec Baldwin? It was a really weird situation.
Well, I've interviewed Alec several times. I've met him.
Yeah.
But of course, he's a nice guy. Like, if you would have met him, you're going to say he's a great guy.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, he gave
that
me pizza.
doesn't change. He's a great guy, and they want to show that. Look, this happened on that movie set. It's very unfortunate. But I'm not personal friends with him. I don't know him like that. He took a life though, and somebody has to be responsible for that. Whether it's props, whether it's him, a life was taken. So somebody is going to be held responsible for it. I don't really know where the court is on it. But if you meet Alec, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this. Pat, you got anything else about Alec?
Nope.
Okay. Pat McAfee. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love his show. I watch it all the time on ESPN. I think he's so talented. I think he's built, a machine over there. It's so fun to watch. It's like a party to watch his show. But the other day, this is what went viral. Go for it.
This rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is a superstar.
My take on this is that didn't need to be said for the story. And honestly, I don't think he said it for, a lot of people say he said it for attention. He said it. I don't think so. I just think, when you're on live TV, you get caught up into it. Sometimes words you really say come out. I'm sure he uses the B word all the time. You know what I mean? It's just, hey, you talk long enough, your natural cadence will come out.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he may have been even trying to emulate the WNBA players that he was talking about and on a tirade about. Yeah. And so that's how I took it, which I didn't like for that reason.
Didn't another player say that about her?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that another player, like before, because we saw that video where another player pushed Caitlin Clark down. Pretty sure she said bitch before that. Before she pushed her down. And then, so I think that, this guy, he's going on a tirade basically saying that, or Pat McAfee, sorry, not just this guy. Pat McAfee is going on this tirade about, all of these other players just being really hard on her, being toxic. And then he uses a word that they called her. I think he was kind of using that sort of slang or language.
As an example.
Yeah.
But he came out, apologized. He said he actually talked to Caitlin. She forgave him. But here we go again. Mob mentality. He was talking about what another girl said he believed. If I'm correct, he was kind of emulating what this woman said.
Yeah.
But we're saying he called her a white bitch. No, it reminds me. I got in trouble for this. It reminds me in my comedy special, my first or second comedy special. I can't remember, right? But I have a joke.
Many.
I have a joke, and it's a joke about COVID. It's my last special, so I shot two versions. I shot a clean version. I shot a a version where I curse like 4 times in the whole thing, right?
Ooh.
So there's a joke where I put my hand to the window when I'm gasping for air, and before the ambulance takes me away with COVID, and my son puts his hand on top of my hand and kind of makes fun of me and goes, ah, ah. He breathes like I breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the clean one, I go, this dude's making fun of me, which is funny. In the dirtier one, I go, this MFer is making fun of me.
Okay.
So the comedy version of the MFer is the one that went viral, like big, right?
Okay. Yes.
Because it's funny. You're calling a kid an MFer.
Literally, that is one of my favorite types of humor.
So my parents didn't like it.
Ugh.
My wife didn't like it because they felt I was calling our son an MFer.
Oh,
I'm going, no. I was like, this is this not made up, but this is what a person would say. Like,
yeah.
And it wasn't like this move. It wasn't violent or mean. It was like, this motherfucker making fun of me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know? It wasn't like, yeah. It was like, like, I can't believe this man making fun of me.
Oh my gosh. I can only imagine the other words that you could have used too.
Oh my God. So wife is mad, my parents are mad, and I go, yo, I'm not calling him that. I'm not saying he's one. I'm just saying in this situation, I was like, you know?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So I understand what Pat McAfee was doing, but when you're on live television too, you also hold a responsibility of watch what you're saying. But it's hard when you're on 3 hours a day. Like when people give these people a problem for being 3 hours a day and they're supposed to be perfect, they're not. They're not sometimes. Mm-hmm. I'm sure if I was a betting man, I'm sure Pat McAfee uses that B word a lot more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm sure he uses it not just on women, on men, on everything, right? It just slipped out. It came out. Is like his natural cadence came out, and that's the way it is. You know, I use a lot of words I would never use on stage. And I'm learning when I do crowd work. This is what I learned. I started doing crowd work. I curse a lot more in crowd work. I don't know why.
Huh.
It's
That's
weird.
Interesting.
Yeah,
is that why you're always calling me an MFer?
I never stop it. I've never called you one. Take it
not
back.
Yet, not yet. I take it back.
Did you say not yet? I love how you said not yet.
I am totally kidding.
All right,
Michael,
Ashley.
you would never. Okay.
You very nice, sweet person, Ashley. Tell how people can find you.
You can find me at Ashley the producer on Instagram.
Michael at Michael Yo. My tour schedule is up. Richmond, Virginia, I'll be there June 14th and 15th. Houston, Texas, June 21st through 23rd. Hawaii, July 12th and 13th. All the dates are right there. Description, check it out. Thank you for listening. We love you. You'll see a bunch more of these podcasts. Peace.